Let's now take a look at a different function and a couple more translations. When we start with the function y equals 1 over x and apply a translation of 2 units in the negative y direction or 2 units down, the resulting function or image function is a copy of the original function with -2 on the end. However, if we start with the same function and apply a translation of 2 units in the negative x direction or 2 units to the left, the resulting function or image function is a copy of the original function with the x replaced by x plus 2. Once again, we have an intuitive change to the original rule and a counterintuitive change. Pause the video here and see if you can explain this difference. Remember that it is useful to use a version of the original function with y as the subject when applying a transformation that affects only the y values of points on the curve, and it is useful to use a version of the original function with x as the subject when applying a transformation that affects only the x values of points on the curve. A translation of 2 units down affects only the y values on the original curve, so it's best in this case to start with a version of the original function where y is the subject. In this case, 2 is subtracted from each of the y values on the original curve, so the image y's will have the same value as the original y's -2. On the other hand, a translation of 2 units to the left results in 2 being subtracted from the x values of points on the original curve, while the y values are left untouched. In this case, it will be best to use a version of the original function where x is the subject. First, we will rewrite the original function. Multiply both sides by x gives us xy equals 1, and then divide both sides by y gives us x equals 1 over y. Now this translation results in 2 being subtracted from each of the x values on the original curve, so the image x's will be the same as the original x's take away 2. Our image equation is written with x as the subject, so we will now rewrite it with y as the subject. Add 2 to both sides, multiply both sides by y, and then divide both sides by x plus 2. And there's our image equation written with y as the subject. In this example, we will begin with the original function y equals log to the base e of x plus 1 and apply a dilation of factor 2 from the x-axis. In this case, the image function will be the same as the original function, with the right-hand side of the rule multiplied by 2. However, if we apply a dilation from the y-axis by a factor of 2, the image function is a copy of the original function, with the x replaced by x over 2. Once again, we have an intuitive and a counterintuitive result. Pause the video now and see if you can explain this difference. Dilation from the x-axis by a factor of 2 results in the y values on the original curve being multiplied by 2 and the x values are left untouched. This original point, with a y value of 1.5, has an image with a y value of 3. This original point, with a y value of -1, has an image with a y value of -2, and so on. So to find the image equation in this case, we will start with a form of the original equation with y as the subject. The image-wise will be the same as the original y's multiplied by 2. By contrast, dilation from the y-axis by a factor of 2 affects only the x values on the curve, and so it is best to start with a form of the original equation where x is the subject. So what we're going to do is rewrite the original equation first. We have e to the y is equal to x plus 1, and subtracting 1 from both sides, we get e to the y minus 1 equals x, or x equals e to the y minus 1. Now, a dilation from the y-axis by a factor of 2 multiplies the x values on the curve by 2. So the image x's will be the same as the original x's multiplied by 2. Now this image equation is written with x as the subject, so we can rewrite it so that it has y as the subject. Divide both sides by 2. Add 1 to both sides. And take the log of both sides. Log to the base e. And of course we can swap sides. And so we have our image equation written with y as the subject.